Welcome everyone. I'm Evelyn and I have a lot of messages from February I'm going to bring you today. I'm going to start with some messages I got yesterday and today, and then I'm going to go back to the first and work my way forward. And I just pulled some cards from the Journey of Love just to get the energies of what was coming up. There's a little bit of sadness here in the underlying energies. The bottom of the deck is self-initiation, which is the deck. All right. So there is this energy of completing, learning how to self-initiate, or having learned that you've gone through a certain cycle. And it is the 12 card, which is about learning to see a new perspective and how to find your way back to the center again. The cards came out here with the gifts received, number 13, which is the death card in transition. And then intimacy, which is 35, which is the 9 of Wands, the wounded warrior. And then 24, of the spaces between the words. 24 is the Queen of Wands, that energy of passion and creativity, of being very social or popular perhaps. And then the energy of the 70, which is the Two of Pentacles, which is the juggler, the performer, the one who's doing the balancing act. Try to keep it all together. And this energy of projection was coming through when I pulled this card came out with Her Grace, which I'll show you that when I get into those messages. But it was the two cards together were very powerful energy of the mother reaching out to show you who you are. And this four circles back here the four moons card kept coming up as well. So there's something about that. And then when I was looking in Elena and Don's book yesterday at the different galactic species to see if I could identify one, I literally opened up to page 88. Have a good time, hon. I opened up to page 88, which was coming up like crazy on the 8th yesterday. 88 came up at least 10 times yesterday for me. But the being that came up was from a planet that had 4 moons. So that had come up again. And also where I'm going to start today on the 1st, a second moon was being shown to me. And there's a lot of energy regarding the connection between Japan and Hawaii, and actually Machu Picchu is coming up as well. I was definitely getting a connection, the under rumblings of Hawaii connected literally to Hiroshima, which was 1945. And then in 2011, when the earthquake and tsunami happened in Japan, I'm being shown this energy of, and notice this year, and the messages I got, it all started from my mother's message the other day, and the message came in on the 6th, on February 6th. And Hiroshima happened on August 6th, 1945. So we're literally, this August 6th, will be exactly 80 years. And when I looked up the 2011 incident with the earthquake and the tsunami, it was described as being 80 miles off the coast. So there's definitely a connection there between the two, that from 1945, there's this transmutation of the earth and now making its way through the earth and obviously over to Hawaii and perhaps Machu Picchu too. And this steam, so to speak, being released after this 80-year transmutation of what happened. And then also the earthquake and tsunami, which I was just watching an interview, and I can't even think of who it was. Oh, it was on Michael Sala, and I think it's Marion is her name, or Miriam. It was his last video, but she was talking about the fact that that earthquake in 2011, which is why I ended up looking up that as well, caused the 3-degree shift, and she was coming from a psychic perspective. So there's a lot of energy coming up around that. And then in my mother's message, because I posted 2 mother's messages on my Instagram and TikTok. Oh, first in Hawaiian translation, and then the second time in Japanese translation. And this phrase, frame 7, had come up. So I searched frame 7 to see what would come up. And I wanted to tell you about that too, because that was very interesting. So a lot coming up with the islands and literally Hawaii and Japan. And this energy of mother, the planet, right? We're in the snake year now, which is all of, it's feminine energy, and it's the snake, right? That's very close to the earth, you know, weaving back and forth. And this energy of transmuting the physical planetary energies as well as our bodies, which I've definitely been feeling since February came in after the switch to the snake, which was the 29th. So on the 2nd, I did a healing for someone, and then on the 3rd, I was just getting such anxious energy coming in, and the 4th. And then I felt much better on the 5th and 6th, but then it came in a little bit again on the 7th. So, you know, we'll get more into that. But there's definitely these deep planetary shifts going on. Again, grounding and integrating literally what we have expanded. The energy of the earth and the gifts that we've already received, which are so many. And the 13, which is the death card of transformation and transition. And the dark night and dark night of the soul. And again, here we are seeing the orbs, you know, the orbs and the drones up in the air. So again, all these gifts that have been received from the earth. And Mother, she's reminding me too that I just brought up a message. I think it was one of my last one, not from today, it was from yesterday. That she's reminding you that when they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, that Hiroshima is her. Right? So, and you are her. So you literally did it to yourself, right? And there'll be some more things coming up with that. The energy of the intimacy between the mother and her children, which is you're a part of the earth, and the intimacy of learning to stay in the vortex in that balanced state that nature naturally does. And then the spaces between the words, interesting, because Mother's message was very, what's the word I want to use? She really used the spaces between the words to get her meanings across. You have to read it a few times. I've read it like 10 times. I didn't even get the relationship to Hiroshima until after, when I was putting it up on Instagram. And then here we have the projection of that. And as the projection comes out, it illuminates all these pairs. You notice they're all in twos, as heaven on earth, radiating out. And now I'm getting the green mile too, right? The green mile, the long mile from earth to heaven. Really cool. The Spirit's connecting with me, right? The green mile, the last mile, which is the longest, right? Waiting death row. And yet learning how not to die, right? Because we're transcending death by pulling down the energies of heaven to make heaven on earth. So yeah, let's put these up here. Actually, you know, I don't want to, no, it's too beautiful. I can't break them up. All right. There's so much about the moon right now coming through. And there is supposed to be, other people have reported a second moon that's supposed to come through as blanking out on a word. I'm sorry about that. I've been dealing with, for those of you who've been watching, I have 6 to 7 cats in my garage right now that I'm now dealing with having to take them in to get them fixed so that they don't keep multiplying because no one's taking care of them. And it's a lot because you get help, but then you don't get help. You know, as far as you know, you go around in circles trying to get people to help you, and some will take you and some will help you pay, but one's different than the other. And then if you can't catch the cats, then you have to get someone else. And of course, you know, you want to make the SPCA the last ditch effort because they do put the cats down if they can't find homes for them. So I'm just going through a lot of that, and that has been stressful for me. And I'm going to attempt to take 2 cats in tomorrow morning, but I don't know if I'll be able to get them in the carriers. So we'll see how that goes. So let's roll the die. Let's see what comes up. All right. Okay. We have over here Mercury. We have communication going on. And of course, Mercury relates to Gemini and Virgo. Sorry, that little fluff there. We have the number 9, which is the Hermit, which also today is the 9th, so that came up. That's the Hermit and Virgo. And compassion and endings. And we have the energy of Sagittarius here as well, which is the Archer, and all about education and spirituality and learning, psychology. But I'm really focused on the arrow of it and the direction, the angular momentum. You have Sagittarius and then Gemini and Virgo. They're all mutable energies. And then we have Virgo again in the middle. So these are all mutable, right? Which can feel very unstable for some, especially if you're not a mutable energy. There's a lot of change going on. A lot of communication. That was coming up in my daily messages too on Insta and TikTok. The energy that it was, there's no, I mean, we have some planets in Pisces, but the immediate energies that were coming up for the day, were there not a lot of water was coming up. And then the moon went into Cancer, so it brought some water into play. But this is a lot of dry communication here, along with Sagittarius, you know, kind of lighting a fire under your butt. It's like, right, God's messengers. And 9 can represent the source energy as well, along with I want to get, you know, Mercury, and I'm getting Pegasus with the Sagittarius because that's very Sagittarius energy. And Pegasus, I'm getting like the FTD florist energy, like a combination of the two, right? Right, of Mercury and Pegasus. And then the 9 of the Hermit in the middle. It's a lot of energy going back and forth. And the Hermit trying to stay calm in the midst of it, which actually was another message that came up. So I'm going to start with yesterday and today, because I do want to complete those messages for you before I go back to the first. So there were 2 phrases that had come up from my mother's message. One was frame 7, this was in Japanese, and the other one was Nomichi Pichi, which reminded me of Machu Picchu. And when I translated it in Google Translator under different languages, it came up very interestingly. In Kokborok, it came up as peak names. All right, so there we have mountains, as I've just been talking about mountains and islands. And then what came up was these translations, which was really beautiful. The first one was in Arabic. I'm not going to tell you all the languages, just the message here. So Arabic, the first one was, this was, again, no Michi Pichi. We walk with you. my little girl, peach blossom, my dear friends, peak names, know my chi and share it. And I just posted that this morning, sharing it, and share was coming up as Shah, shared as Shah read. Know my chi and share it. I am the home of the homeless, the small, the cats, the fish, the nameless mother dogs. Name your chi in order to share it. So know what is your chi, what is your soul essence, so that you know what to share, and that, you know, they're speaking to me too. And this was the energy. You have to, I actually want to read that to you, because the way, if you read it, you may not see it the same way I saw it, and it was a very complicated read. So this is, yeah. So that's the music. You can hear it a little bit. This is Mother's Message, Google Translate in Japanese, and I titled it Hiroshima is Me, and capital ME also means civilization in Sumerian. I'm bring up the others. This was the message. Now think Hiroshima, okay? Everyone in the city unknown, and this is Mother speaking, Stains city, all one. Citizen, wolf, one. Citizens and archangels, one. Think about this, right? So the citizens of Hiroshima and archangels now one, because they're no, it's making me cry, they're no longer there. There is a stain. The second term, not yet unreleased. Okay, so you're saying there's a second time, but it has not been released. Number 2, you and Pa. To you, for you. To you too. Pa. Pa, give it to you. To taste. Right? To give you a taste of what it was like to have a nuclear war. There is a stain on the picture. I still haven't finished drawing. The artist Mina Wa, which Mina translated as all and Wa as the sum, which is the all. And then she giggles. Ah, Mana. Honashiko Pa, where holistic came up regarding that. And Ho, or Ho, Westlake Pa, a local person per Ode people, Para people, or Paro people, and Achi per Asia people, Achi Paradiso, to the ears, and Achi is very much about little and small, and it comes up regarding the Japanese cartoons as well. So Achi Paradiso, to the ears, to the hands, you know, think of the little hands of the vulnerable and innocent. Additional attack to the citizens. Please give it to me. Don't do it again, you know. Mana in your hand, hands to mother, as great mother laughs. The devil's name is, but Mana's name is written. Mana Namaho book, and I got Navajo as soon as I read that. Mana Namaho book came in, perhaps Namaho as well, because that's the way the word came up. First time, no demon earth. First time in Inama, which meant to bow or bend down to another. First time in this kind of area. Shoma Inama area, value. First dance student, value, right? Think about how much you value the first time you've ever danced. The first dance live, the first time bending over. Exposing yourself, humbling yourself to another. Micromedicine, microscopic medicine, mana. To the doctor, she's presenting this to the doctors, I am not good at medicine. Then W-I-I, or W the second, and that can represent, I kept getting World War II, but also W names as the second or third in the family. But here it was coming up as W2, the grandfather, the devil. Then we'll be happy. I'm going to have a good time. Ah, then, WII, so frame 7. We bottom devil 7. Whole story to tell, which was HOLE, not WHOLE, and they're bringing that W in again. It's missing the W. The whole is the whole. The story about the whole of Hiroshima. The whole story to tell. The counterweight 7. Sun difference from 7 to 9. And now she's bringing in the energy of the gamma waves coming in and how stressful it is to our bodies. The whole story to tell, and the counterweight 7, where now the sun difference, you may feel intensity from going from 7 to 9. Whole one. Again, the hole in the ground, the whole one. Don't chase. Or in other words, don't chase the hole in one. Number 7, follow up. Little demon 7 swamp. Small mana named swamp. And basically, I was writing this on the 7th as well. The message came in on the 6th, but I did this on the 7th. Small mana named swamp. Mananahi. To frame 7. The swamp, or teeth, top 7. The swamp is stains. And she's talking about Hiroshima as one huge stain on her. Number 7, demonic sound. Can you imagine the sound of this? And then the only thing people can say is what? Like, what was that? Demon name. Literally. This is what she said. Demon name. Machine body. 7 mana for the ceremony. To entice city living. To entice you. The city machine body, right? These nuclear warheads. And 4 seasons ceremony, which can relate to the 4 Seasons Hotel. But mostly what I was getting is you took out 4 seasons of the year by doing that. All of my seasons for that year. The ceremony of the 4 seasons by this city machine body. A picture book of stains 7. The stain is fast. 7 speed. My legs are stained. 7 pairs. Ha! My legs are not stained. They are not covered in dirt. The feet are the only target. The road to the spot. The field path is the target of the stain. Peachy is a spot between the stains. No Michi Peachy is between the stains and the Pa, or the father. Blood is between the stains. The demon of stains and painting, right? The creativity that comes out of loss. Hashimi's demon and painting and the transformation of Hiroshima. The spot removal. The mother's journey to Pa, to the father. Between the stains. The magical girl, magical hill, magical squatting down, right? I'm seeing women in the fields giving birth. The magical cap of the mountains would drain away if that family tree were present now. History, his story was a day, a fart, the backstory or ground, which she described as the sun, loud and stinky, right? This very huge bright light, then covered in black, this awful sound and this awful smell. And she concludes the message with, he, or the father side, the masculine side, sees of I with his eyes. And she says, of one, know me. And again, capital M-E, which is the gift of civilization in Sumerian. Okay. So the Nomichi Pichi came up as, in the translator, as small country road of the homeless person, which would then be what the situation was like after the bomb. it didn't get out to a ton of people, so I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you because it was very profound. So when I looked up frame 7, what's on the other side of this? I looked up frame 7, and remember I told you 80 miles and 80 years was coming up. February 6th was 79 and a half years, which 79 for me is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then 5 is being exaggerated with this 25 year and the change that occurs. So what is frame 7? I literally put that in to see what came up. And what came up first I saw was an industrial gas turbine. Huge. It reminded me of the accelerators. That was frame 7. It was called frame 7/1 EA or EA, and then / Baker Hughes, an industrial gas turbine. And they sold like 1,000 units, so obviously it's huge. And then I didn't see anything else, but I was getting the message Mach 7. So I looked up Mach 7 because I didn't even know what Mach they're at these days, right? As far as Machs, I only know Speed Racer, right? So I looked up Mach 7, and what the headers that came up were X-15, the fastest plane in the world, Mach 7, and there was a video from September 12th, 23, but I wanted to get something more recent because I didn't know if they developed something faster than that. And then I came across a title called China Reveals Mach 7 Hypersonic Weapon Design that can deploy missiles. And there was also information about their drones. So this was dated 11/12/24, so just a few months ago. Michael Jerder on X, or what was Twitter. I think it was 6DF. Oh, that's interesting. DF, Divine Feminine. I don't know if that's a G or a 6 that I wrote. -600. This is the device. Promises max speed of up to Mach 7, which is 5,370 miles per hour, on display at the Zhuhai, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, air show in China by GARA, G-A-R-A, which has come up for me, that name, but I wouldn't have known what it was. But it's the Guangdong Aero. I'm sorry, Aerodynamic. I can't read. Research Academy. The door's open. Jenna left. There's no way that she could have locked that door. All right, I'm sorry. I have to get up and let my son. Sorry about that. I specifically told my daughter to make sure that the doors were open so he wouldn't do that. Okay, so GARA is the Aerodynamic Research Academy. It said it's some kind of glide vehicle launched on a ballistic missile or rocket booster, and the ability to keep changing their path before hitting the target makes it considered quite difficult to defend against, and can travel 372 miles. And also at the China show, they showed their drone mothership that launched drone swarms, and this is before the swarms came out. right? Because this was November 12th. I don't know when the first drones came out, but they were showing their drone mothership at the show in China. So obviously people were excited to show what they had created. So I thought that was very interesting. So let's see, was there anything else from here? What also was interesting, something I came across, was I noticed that the midpoint of the year, the calendar year, is around July 2nd, like the 1st to the 2nd, depending on the leap year. And that's that 72, which came up in what I just posted as well, which is the midpoint of the calendar year. And I noticed if we go into the natural year, which starts in Aries on March 20th, 2025 at 9:01 a.m., literally the middle day of the year is my birthday, 9/18 into the 19th, and I was born 15 minutes before midnight, and I was born an hour behind where I am now. So I literally am where I am now. My birthday's on the 19th, not the 18th, because it's an hour later, which goes into the next day. So it's just crazy that that had come up. So all these synchronicities with all the 8/8s that came up yesterday. Please check out my posts on Instagram and Twitter, because I've done a lot on there. It is on a second Facebook page I have as well under Twin Flames 3344. And please comment if you'd like to about any of this information. If you have anything to add, that would be great. So we're going to start back on the 1st of February. These cards have come up from the Nirvana deck. Okay, so the underlying energy was here, this discernment card, but I put them this way because notice how the eye is the mask here in her hand. It was very interesting the way it was coming up. And then the conch shell over here too. Stuff about shells was coming up as well. So the underlying energy of discernment within the reflection card and the abundance card. As the underlying energy, after rebirth, protection, teacher's connection, gratitude, and prism came up. The rebirth and the energy of, there was a card with a hole, an egg with a hole in it. And it was giving me the same release energy as the volcanoes in Hawaii coming from Japan. A Mercury came up here, a protection, teachers and dear ones connection, sticky fingers and quantum entanglement, and finding gratitude in the prism. And remember, the prism is the breaking of the white light into the rainbow, right? The beautiful colors that come upon the breaking of, changing the situation in your favor, someone's good energy being harvested into a prism. Spies and discernment here showing their hand. Protector walks away having been taught a sticky lesson about energy vampires and stealing your light. Protector of dear ones and strings attached. The prism. This is the prism card. You are what you believe in. And then pain to humor was coming up. Again, transforming the energy of pain into humor, right? Which I was talking about, pain into creativity, pain into beauty, pain into humor. The magic of comedy, crazy wisdom of absurdity, and no need to battle uphill. And again, this is coming from the book of the message of the Nirvana deck. The first card was abundance with the conch shell with the lights within. And notice actually that day I was guided to put these lights into the rocks. So you see there's a little reflection on that rock, and that rock over there is my Mother Mary rock. That's a very special rock. And the lights went in, there's a hole in it. And so I put the light in the hole. I was guided to do that. So the abundance of the conch shell and the lights within, simplicity, patience, compassion, and your three greatest treasures. The second card, assertiveness. One is never afraid of the unknown. One's afraid of the known coming to an end. So then discernment was coming up. the reflection and the abundance. And literally the picture, like I said, it looks like she's looking at her reflection in her compact, looking self in the eyes and seeing the pink veil of the dark snake within, the aroma, the liquid, and the solid snake. And I'm getting like solid state, devices. The solid snake, states of existences, and seeing the beauty within, or using a compact to see what's coming up behind you, right? Using the mirror to know what's coming. Perhaps someone, and that can represent your twin as well. Like perhaps you've forgotten you're connected, like we all do, because we're dealing with our day-to-day lives, and realizing that what's happening to you maybe isn't, is maybe it's happening to your twin. Perhaps someone with pearls is spying on you, or the pearl threaded is complete, which is the energy I was getting from this card, that the pearl is complete. Oh, and the mother prays. Look at that. It's right behind that. It's time to change shells or containers. And I was looking at the Buddha on my table, and that's where I started changing things up on my table a little bit, because the card literally looked like the bird was pointing towards Buddha from my Mother Mary rock over there. And they were telling me to turn the bird around and put the light in Mother Mary. And here, look, the underlying energies is the mother prays. 15 is the shadow, as I just talked about, the shadow snake within us all. And then the energy of self-initiation and keeping yourself centered the whole time. Even so, and notice the color difference, right? The upper chakra system and the lower chakra system here. After she bent over backwards, the yin yang lover of the 8, which I talked about, the 8 with all the 8 eights and the 80 years and 80 miles, her bending over backwards to keep all of the swords out of the vortex, right? All of the wounds, all of the injuries. Bending over backwards to heal those wounds, to keep the vortex clear. And then the mother comes in, and it's in, purples and blues, which are higher vibrational colors. But also notice what was in this card. It's not red, it's magenta red, which is a different quality. It's a much more etheric quality. And notice etheric has to do with ether. And here's the mother praying, but what are her intentions? Right? And even if she's got good intentions, they may not be what you want for yourself. And again, this can come up with the mother who prays for you what she wants for you, but it goes against what your intentions are. And then the self-initiation of keeping yourself in the center, coming back to the center every time you get knocked off balance by whoever it is, or energy vampires, even if they mean well, and then bringing yourself back to the center again. The 8 of the strength and power of the shadow of the devil, 15, and then the 12 of the hanging man, of the wisdom of seeing another perspective, right? As soon as you get knocked off center because you're seeing something from a hurtful place or a scary place, it's okay. Just bring it back to the center again. You know what to do. All right. So, and again, Mother Mary, I'd written down here too. And this was interesting too, because I listened to Robert Grant and took a lot of notes from his past life regression, or his regression. And I told you about the two because he and Matthias both did regressions on that channel. I don't have her name right in front of me, but I named her on the last video, I believe. Anyway, he calls the Mona Lisa the Monad Lisa. And that monad actually was the number 5166, I believe he said, which has to do with the 51 of the I think he was quoting the pyramid angle, right? 51 point, whatever it is. And then the 6 and the 6 were separate representations. But for me, the 66 is the Golden Gate and the Queen of Pentacles, which is the grounded mother. All right, so Her Grace, I want to show you that picture. I was telling you about. All right, so this here of her grace extended to that heaven card. And again, that was coming up as the bird extending that tail. Look how, see how her hand in the picture, it has a little split in it? Well, the bird's tail has a little split in it. It was like literally her hand, they wanted me to turn it around so it would be reaching out to the Buddha and to the pyramid, which I just brought up as well, the 51-degree pyramid in the middle with the eagle around it. Excuse me. And then again, this energy of to project, to shine brighter. And again, it's got that element of the, the movie projector from the back of the theater coming in, showing you all the people who are sitting in the theater of the Green Mile. The 17 of the star and the 70 of the 2 of Pentacles of the star performing. Her grace and heaven. The 35 of intimacy, 55 of acceptance, 41 of knowing without knowing, 62 the choice, 17 her grace. So after the yin yang lover 8, and then the 68 of dropping into your heart, the 45 of hidden beauty, the 30 of towering magnificence, the page of pentacles grieving the 4 of wands union with the wounded warrior and surrender, presenting truth of the fairy tale, the ace of cups and knowing without knowing, the holy grail of her gravity. And notice gravity, the graveness of something, the choice to release or extend her grace or overextend her grace. Perhaps a dream come true. As 62 and 17 add up to 88, extending her grace, the 70 of heaven and the 2 of pentacles magical performance, her left hand being her magic wand, creating a movie, heaven sent, and I'm left-handed, so I definitely relate to that. Projection in the sky, like a movie projector, like I said, at the back of the theater, everyone taking their seats to see the show. Mary sits in the left corner. Turn the bird around like her grace cord. Her hand is like the bird's tail, and now the tail points at the moon in the pyramid. So again, the moon comes up again in the pyramid and the conch shell. And I just sketched the energy I was getting from the 2 cards together of the shell and then the projection of the energies here. And it shows 2 moons. Mary released from her burdens, extending a hand to be part of the show. A man on the other side of the card represents the blue stone. So again, it was bringing my Mother Mary stone and the blue stone were coming up as the pillars on either side, right? Like the gate holders. And now facing each other, 24 and 24, which was interesting because my mother and my brother have the same soul number, which is 24, the Queen of Wands. And the moon 18 in the middle, which would, that's funny, personally, that would represent me because my birthday is the 18th, but I'm also Cancer rising. But that energy of that in the middle of the eagle and next to the Buddha, and eagle for me always comes up as E as glee. And Robert Grant also was talking about the last stage of the 4th dimension of the Hierophant being the white elephant of wisdom and being the throat chakra. And that when it comes together, that it's like instead of counting to 7 to the crown, the snake's head coming together at the end at the third eye combines the third eye and the crown as one. And Ganesha's been coming up again as well, and I brought Ganesha back. You can't see Ganesha because Ganesha's kind of big over there, but he's sitting there back on the table. But the energy of the 2 snakes coming together and the white elephant, and the elephant's been coming up in a lot of the decks as well. And also with the Mona Lisa, the numbers of Monad Lisa, M is 13, O is 15, N is 14, which is it's the monad of the Mother, Father, and Holy Spirit type of energy, as far as the densities and going up to God. So the 13, 14, 15 was coming up from Mona, and then the 1 of the A. But also Mona Lisa is 16 and 14, which then is missing. Where's Waldo in the middle? The 15 again, right? The shadow in the middle. And again, the way I was showing myself the numbers, I'm drawing pyramids all over the place. And then 80, and then Mona Lisa adds up to 88. So I didn't even remember that. So there's 88 again. And 88 for me represents the twins each dancing within their own masculine and feminine side by side. And when the third 8 comes in, that's the infinite connection, which has the X in the middle of the shared space, and then the 2 half circles on the outside, which are the individual spaces, right? So still retaining your sovereignty, yet having shared space in the middle. So on the first, it was then I'd pulled again, and she as the moon had come up. And the eagle was, I had the eagle behind the pyramid before, and now it's in front of it. I was guided to put that in front of the pyramid to protect it. So there's another energy that was coming up. But then at 909 came up, my gnat showed up, which means unforgettable, something very positive, the 909. And this year is the 999 year in September. It's the triple nines. And I was getting really good energy right there. The underlying energy of the 321 card, and destined to the vortex, the truth of his witnessing her hard work. As the 55 and 41 are in the background there of the Ace of Swords and Ace of Cups, so 2 aces. Destined to the vortex, the eagle to the 1, which is the 2 dots and the arc between, or that leap between, with the first card out being the 39 and 46, let the feminine lead the way, and just for a moment, joy. All right, so here's the cards that I'm talking about. This was all the underlying energies, and then the cards that came out here. Okay. So we have 2 aces, the Ace of Swords and Cups as 55 and 41, and then the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune being the card 3, 2 written out, and 1. The Knight of Cups and the 6 of Cups in the snake year, with left arm wrangles being plugged into the 46, which is the innocent ones, the children, the soulmates, the vulnerable, and receiving big light to their heart. Open wide to receiving the light. Our hair was coming up as connected as one unit. Oh, interesting. So I'm telling that to you. And there is a card too where all of the women are laying down their hair in the vortex, like a red carpet for the masculine. And I'm getting the picture of that where all of their long hair comes together as one. Then 12 and 19 of the self-initiation and Shakti energy, right, the mother god energy, in the vortex, expanding it to gold. And I brought up Sri Lanka. And cinnamon, because Sri Lanka was the big place for cinnamon, and one of my messages came up around it becoming valued like gold. So we don't know what's coming up with that, but that's coming up again with this message about expanding it to gold. A child in the making, a close-up of the womb, with Pisces and Leo, and the number 31, which has to do with the group. That can be competition or chaos and battles, but also can be games and group events. The 31 of the Christ flame and the 58 of beauty, the 16 of heart of the moment. As 21, she is the moon, and 5, the dance, the communal dance, the 10 of 3 to 1, and his legacy of light, and the underlying energy of JC and Mary in the heart with the mighty sentinels. That she is the moon, and there's that Cancer energy, which the moon is in Cancer today. And then Scorpio, Pisces, Taurus, and Libra came up, being the ones in the communal dance around the egg. And then a second moon came up again. And then 26, which is next year. Also the Page of Wands. Go into the tunnel as the world and the Hierophant, mastering 4D, and the Knight of Cups wrangles light into their hearts. A baby gold orb, or in other words, a heart of gold. So now I'm getting, now I'm blanking, what's his name? Heart of Gold. Neil Young. Neil. That message was coming up too, because they're humbling yourself is kneeling, right, to anoint your feet. And then young as well, right, forever young, to stay young at heart. As the moon too enters the vortex, and the daughter represents the moon as well, enters the vortex one step in front, as the eagle is sheltering her for a time in order to ground and integrate. The vortex turned on. The lights are back on. Perhaps the new one's not up yet, but the lights are back on. Very interesting. And again, double row for double moon at 9:33, which is the Hermit and the Christ vibration, which is also the Rainbow Bridge. And then I was getting the date 6:15 coming up in multiple ways again. And remember what I said at 9:09 when I started this little read. The Nat came in, which is unforgettable. And the 9:9, I was reviewing the notes on the previous page, and I remembered it was a 999 year as I looked over at the other page that I hadn't gotten to yet, and 99 was just staring me in the face, so it's very significant. I haven't pulled my T cards in a while, and I'd pulled some, and a lot of months were coming up. February came up with the vase and the lily, and then the mountain came up with the feather, the candle and the ring. July, casket, camel, cup, love, and horseshoe. Time to act, lion, cat, two-faced friend, May, and February. And I wrote like May, then February winds blow back in. So there might be a retrograde there. The first card out was the vase and secret admirer and spiritual love and lilies. And then the underlying energy was from June, the owl, the valley, and the mountain, with good advice from a wise one with deep personal strength and peace that assures success, with a major challenge to overcome. Then the next first card was the feather, where someone is undependable and insincere. With candle and ring, you will be shown the way. A marriage will take place, either romantic or in business. A July casket, someone getting out of your life or an end of a situation. Persevere and you will come. You will overcome. And the camel was coming up here. You should accept valid criticism. And then love comes up with the horseshoe and good luck. And 2 and 7 were being highlighted here. 2 is February challenge, the vase, the flowers, feathers, candle, and ring. And 7 is July, ending and walking through the desert, dishing tea, being open as love is here with good luck. And remember, I told you 72 came up. So there's a reflection of 72. All right. The Nirvana Oracle. This had come up. And notice all the dog energy here. But I want to focus on the Nirvana deck here because I was pulling for another reason. But they came up with significant messages, so I did want to share them as well. Right, because one is the wolf, they're showing the dog, right? The angelic dog, and then the devil dog, right? Again, the two sides of everyone. The underlying energy of direction, the discerning eye of kindness, squaring the circle, right? Going from plus to times or multiplication. Deja vu, emotions and direction. A crack in the surface. Okay. The arrow into the core of the apple splits. When earth cracks, the hole fills with water, like the ocean. The earth's surface is water with land poking out of it. The seed gets into the womb or core. So just like the earth, for a person, the seed gets into the womb or core through injecting through tunnels, right, through the fallopian tubes. But just like the earth's tunnels, the iron core to the diamond core. And then irony was coming up as the two worlds split, expanding light and growing in size, as the inner diamond will crack the egg to make room to grow. The center more reflective, lighter yet stronger, whose white light, when cut, hurt, shows all of its colors immediately. So again, that prism comes up, right? The whole rainbow of colors. You see all the beauty within instantly. The 24 of Omega, of 6 by 4 quartered was coming up as 6666. Human leaps in 4 parts. And for me, 6 is also the spiral and the G. And the heart is 2 spirals coming together. The L of the electromagnetic grid, because on a chart they show you the waves of electromagnetics, how they're not opposite each other, they're perpendicular to each other. And it's coming up as TOG, but the O in the middle as pi with a line down the middle. The source of sharing equally with all beings. In quarter 4, home ego is the feminine ego as opposed to the masculine ego, which is a softer ego. The human sharing, co-creating with the ego. And this came up again in my mother's messages as ego spelled with an I. Rainbow is the pain of the rolling stone. When the gift is opened to become, right, the gift, when the E's are all facing each other, it's the gift, literally. And when the E's are all not facing each other, it's the sun. So here it's saying the rainbow is the pain of that rolling stone of the gift, right, the sword and the stone. When the gift is opened, it becomes the sun, shining like the sun. The sword and the stone is a leak in the egg, cut to the core, bleeding out if removed, and the fear of that, scared to heal the wound because you're afraid to bleed to death, without covering it up first, or stitches. If you just stitch the surface without mending the core, who knows what would happen from root to crown. Between closures, or between the words, between the spaces, at 208, the higher self and the strength or dance within. Between closures, water fills in, a man-made channel, core to surface or radius. So again, they're comparing, and reset came up there too. They're talking about a midnight reset and 4 a.m. reset. Like there's a reset for the day, right? Because you wake up in a whole new way, right? When you wake up in the morning. So there's a 4 a.m. reset, but also a midnight reset. But there was this difference between winter and summer, and it's with the clocks as well. And it was coming up as 4 and 10 or 6 and 12, these resets. And the energy of the sun symbol, the circle with the dot in the middle, which is also about source energy, and all roads leave home, right? The rays of the circle are the radius of the sun from the middle, right? The central sun. And I don't know if it was Robert Grant or someone else had brought that up, that the circle on the outside represents nothing because it sees the one in the center. But the one in the center, and I brought this up as well before, the one in the center sees all because they're looking outward and they can see infinitely because it doesn't end. But if you're looking towards the center, you have to see an end, right? So we look to the end, which is source, and then source looks at us as in an infinite way. The same thing like if you're sitting in a circle doing a meditation. Your perspective of the center person or the center object is very different than that object or person in the center's perspective of the group as they look outward and radiate outward. It's a very different perspective. The projector of the eye creates a veil or kindness squaring the circle, right? And perhaps limits you to what you can handle at the time, right? Naturally. And this was at 215. Again, the 15 coming up as the shadow and the 2 of the higher self. But 215 is also a Philadelphia area code. Go Eagles! Just had to put it in there. I'm not even a football fan, but reflecting memories. 25 is the Eagles' soul number. So I have the feeling that they just might win. So reflecting memories and deja vu was coming up with the electric jellyfish emotion. Creates direction of the break as it becomes a stone movement or monument in the middle of the lake. So again, they're talking about the body not being stitched up properly when a hole is there, right? So if it's a little thing and you stitch it up on the surface, that's fine. But if it's a big wound and you stitch it up on the surface, you haven't healed inside, and that can grow into other issues internally that you're not aware of. And they're bringing us to the earth, and the same thing happening with that. So if we create bombs and make big holes in the earth that we cover up the surface with, but we never addressed what was underneath, it has to resolve itself, and Spirit's connecting with me big time right now, because it's what I'm talking about, this connection of Japan and Hawaii, that the hole made from Hiroshima. It's taken 80 years to transmute the energies, and it's like it's letting off steam over here in the volcanoes, and perhaps at Machu Picchu too. I don't know what happens over there volcanically, but that's coming in as well. The rose phoenix and the philosopher's stone. Know thyself, assertiveness with the moon of both sides, right? The dark and the light, the dark side of the moon. You, as two teachers of the crescent moon, are in the same boat or ark under the hazy new moon. It's not clear yet. The veil over the face to the cloud over the new moon. And it was coming up as a blue moon, but we don't have a blue moon until I forget if it's 26 or 27. I did look. We don't have a blue moon this year. Oh, here it is. May 31st, 26 is a blue moon, and then 12/31st in 28. So we don't have, every other year approximately we have a blue moon. So we don't have one till May 31st, 26. So that's significant. Remember that. You might want to write that date down. And January 13th was the full wolf moon, as I just showed you, the wolf howling with the dog. And that we're in the snow, building up to the snow moon now. On the new moon was on the 29th. That's the snow moon that we're building up to now. Yeah, and the golden mean, I was drawing pictures that looks to me like the shape of the, it's the rectangle of the golden mean, where you keep putting a square in it and it keeps creating a new place to put the square inside the rectangle. That golden mean spiral is coming up. When it was one of the diagrams on the cards from the Nirvana deck, in my mind, I unfolded the bars that they showed folded all up, and it became this rectangle square that was portioned off into a square and a rectangle, literally. So that's literally the golden mean. Reflecting memories, deja vu, the electric jellyfish emotion, creates the direction of the break as it becomes a stone monument in the middle of the lake. So again, this wound is showing itself as this big monument now in the middle of the lake to show you, this is my wound. It's grown so big, it had to come out and be seen. And again, the flask of the philosopher's stone was coming up here, right? Like the magic potion bottle, but also the aspect of time in the sands of time. Know thyself, both your dark and your light. And again, in the beginning of this, we talked about knowing your essence, your soul essence, both your dark and your light, as you two teachers, as the twin flames of the crescent moon. The crescent moon is what's close to the new moon on both sides. In the same boat, from right, two sides of the same coin. One is the crescent moon leading up to the full moon, and the other is the crescent moon leading away from the new moon and waxing into the full moon. And again, the January 13th energy being significant as the full wolf moon. Okay. I don't want to miss anything for you. There's a lot of weird energies coming up too for me too. Like one day, I had just come off of doing something and I looked at my iPad and there was a picture of the cat on my iPad, and then my light that's always on just started blinking uncontrollably. And the bulb was a little loose, so I tightened it, but it didn't do anything. It was blinking uncontrollably. It wasn't going out, it was just blinking. So I changed the bulb, and it was fine after that. But there was definitely a message there, and it was at 9:09 again. And then the other day, my lips started twitching, which doesn't usually happen to me. So I was looking up stuff about that, and that came up with the 7th cervical vertebrae. So that 7 came in again there. And I've been smelling stuff. Like my psychic sense of smell has never been strong, but I have smelled smells before, perfumes and cigars before. And the cigars and burnt smells were coming up multiple times this past week. And I wrote down Pegasus on the 3rd with butterfly wings. To be still, stillness and silence, just to be. Spend time in nature to refresh your soul. Run wild, let your inner child run forth. Going within to be present to your gifts. With Pegasus, with butterfly wings, practice freedom, release weight or judgment. And the eagle comes up with the freedom. And then you deserve to be seen again. Blue jay and deer in the snow. You deserve to be seen, let yourself be known. As I talked about the wound inside. And the cigar again. And the Good Shepherd came up that day too, the movie. So I'm going to say this because they're talking about this, to bring your wound to the table. And my last video, I didn't even realize till now because I was so busy with the cats all week and other stuff, that it only got 4 videos. So that made me very sad. Because obviously I put a lot into these videos, and thank you to all of you who are watching who find some value from my messages. But it just, it was a very sad feeling. So go into those energies. What are you experiencing that you need to see as then we have this message on the table? Yes. All right. So the next message is the message on the table. Let's see where we are. All right. So this is the Twin Flame read on the table. It's the SIRIAN Starseed deck as the big cards, and then the Rider-Waite minis for clarifiers. Right, and interesting that I was just talking about the sadness, because there's the sadness card right there with the 3 of Swords card, right, which is disappointment or heartbreak, separation, weathering the storm, and then the 7 of Cups, which is, with heaven in your eyes and dreams and having options and releasing those thoughts and allowing the emotions to flow through you, right? Don't stop yourself up. Anything that comes up, allow it. Don't tell yourself you're not allowed to feel that way, that kind of stuff. So this read here, we cut the deck on this was done from the 3rd to the 4th. It was 11:23 p.m. I cut the deck. And on that day, the 3rd to the 4th, I was sad that day because, again, that anxiety energy had come up around the cats. At 11:32 was Justice and then the 6 of Wands. The guidance card is in the middle there, which is the Hierophant. The Strength card, Shadow, which is the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and before the read, the Higher Self and Ascension cards came up. Ascension is the world. And after the read, Justice and Lovers came up, along with the Abundance card. Good, yeah. Abundance is here, and then Justice and the Lovers are here at the end. I don't know if you can see them in the picture, but they're over here at the end. And the Lovers is upright in this message. I think the 2 of Cups was upright as well. There was 1 sword, 1 cup, 4 wands, and 1 pentacle. And the major court card in the read was the Page of Wands, which came up. That was 26, as the year 26 had come up. Page of Wands is, the inspired child who is really excited about something or wants to give a passionate message. But again, it's the page, so it's still immature, but doesn't take the beauty away from it. The Queen of Pentacles also came up after over here. And with the Queen of Pentacles is here. I mean, it could be a Taurus because we have the Taurus card right there. And she does look kind of disappointed in this card, actually. Or sad, or maybe she's, it's kind of like that widowed energy look on her face in this deck. We have triple sevens here, so 777 and double eights. There's the double eight again. I didn't even realize that. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all came up together, and then 1, 2 came up together as the 12, which is the Hanging Man. So, and the 5 is less so. So we're leaving the fifth, even the fifth dimension behind, and moving up more to 6, 7, 8, 9 now. And again, the 9 of the Hermit, I'm getting this pyramid effect, or the leveling effect, stepping down, steps on a pyramid, going from 7 to 8 down to 9, not up, but down. Again, grounding those energies, bringing heaven on earth. The code line here, the number was 83, coming from the number 6 and 77, which is the Lovers and the Sovereign. And 83 is the reflection of 38, which is the Queen of Cups. And Evelyn's actually 83. Just thought I'd let you know that. The code line here, the messages that came up were Infinite Digamma Tree, Sophia Infinite, the God Gita, so like the feminine Gita, which can be the feminine Guido, right? So the Godfather type of energy is coming up here. With the 6 of Cups, which is that innocence of soulmates and children. And the 7, with the 7 was separate from the 7 of Pentacles. So there's that frame 7 coming up again with the Chariot and the Divine Feminine's heart. Right? The innocence connection as the vehicle of the Divine Feminine's heart. And FTS was coming up, which came up as the expression F the shit, flight termination system and full text search. And FTs come up as final testaments, fluctuation theorems, and free throws. But also notice FTs. FT is the reflection of TF. The infinite twin flame tree of Sophia to the nth degree. The G as the Gita, or the mother god as opposed to the father god, a feminine guide. The innocent feminine within as the 7. The divine masculine. And the eve of Saturday night was coming up. And Saturday Night Live was coming up there too. But the eve of Saturday night, and I was getting Saturn's night, right, as in the knight in shining armor. The divine feminine's heart. Saturn's night is being the divine feminine's heart. Also the infinite father and the infinite son around the tree. The mother you see is the G of Gita, the godmother of the 6 of Cups, of all the innocents and vulnerable, and the 77 of sovereignty, the sovereign crystals. And crystals is also Christ-like, the innocence of the chariot of the divine feminine's heart. And this starts at 1242 of the Hanging Man and the 2 of Cups. And the 8 of Swords reversed in the underlying energy. That top card is also this 8 of Swords reversed, same one. And below that is the 3 of Pentacles reversed, the 4 of Wands upright, the higher self upright, Ascension reversed, which is the world, and the 10 of Pentacles upright. So issues at work, but solid home, the higher self upright needing to ascend, along with the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community of wealth and abundance, to release imprisoning thoughts after heartbreak or confusion about what to release, what to choose, sad having to let go of something that you love. As the 2 of Pentacles reversed, dropping the act, detoxing the 10 of Cups upright, 1 cup at a time, pushed to their emotional limit, pushed to release mentally and emotionally, as the recent past is the Ace of Wands upright, right? Clearing the way for this new passion here, as the 6 of Wands is upright with judgment and strength, all upright, bringing good news, announcement to be strong, enjoy with the High Priestess or higher self, and facing fears of chaos and divide and conquer. the never-ending battle between the Five of Swords, War Within, and the Queen of Swords upright to fight for the truth, jumping through the ring of fire as the wounded warriors surrender, and the Knight of Wands reverse capture. The wounded warrior reverse near death, and the Knight of Swords reverse fallen angel, or losing patience perhaps, as the Pisces is both reversed and upright here, with Virgo upright, Cappy reversed, Aquarius upright, Leo upright, Scorpio reversed, Saggy reversed, and notice there were 7 signs. The central energy is guidance reversed, outside the box, a divorce, a break in contract, religion, a need to become the master alchemist, the Page of Cups, the sweetheart assessing the worth of rewards and moving to a more peaceful thoughts, away from the King of Swords upright, right, who's very much in his integrity, but there's no emotion there, right, can come off as cold, even though he's upright, and very much in his truth, or telling the truth. The challenge being the Six of Cups, which is the sweethearts and innocence, the sweet innocent ones, the lovers of affection, coming clean about the present. The King of Pentacles reversed and the Empress upright. And now, crowning there is the Seven of Wands reversed, defenseless, in self-satisfaction and days in the sun, getting a simple wish of a sunny day, as the King of Cups upright is awakened to the Six of Cups. And the Page of Swords reversed perhaps is no message, or a child who's, mouthing off. It can be someone who's spying and lying, or a negative message or no message, or a negative self-talk, in a deception of the King of Wands reversed and Knight of Wands reversed, and the injustice of the Four of Pentacles reversed, which can be the masculine's heart opening up to come out, to make amends or fix things, perhaps even just fixing up a house or a place to live, with the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles both reversed, so healing can happen, right? So that wound in the earth and the wound within us that was only covered up, now you need to go back to surgery, right, and cut it open again so that you can allow the infected part to heal. So reopening the wound in order to heal it from the ground up, so to speak. So Taurus reversed with Leo upright, Gemini and Leo upright, Pisces or Capricorn reversed, Cancer reversed, Libra reversed, Aquarius upright. As the King of Cups upright, and he can represent unconditional love as well, realizes that the Six of Cups and their innocence at the new moon, that players are also out, and it's unfair to the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. For man and child's son, or woman and child or son, all unhappy at 111 here, even when the stars are bright. Soon coming up is the Nine of Wands wounded warrior here, is the Nine of Flames, and his surrender, or her surrender, as the King of Pentacles is reversed with the Empress upright in disconnect or distance, perhaps burdened by the weight of the world, or the weight of WAITE and the BLISS, offering time, money, and effort, or a new life, or paying to divorce, to get out of a contract, with the Queen of Cups reversed, or paying for the Queen of Cups reverse divorce or schooling. I am the shadow reversed, sharing, giving, and then a sudden event or something hits the crown, sharing epiphanies, stress, freaking out, receiving new passionate offer or offers from the Nine of Pentacles sovereign, sleeping with the Eight of Pentacles, or perhaps sleeping on the job or at work. Somebody could be falling asleep at work, or on break to get their ducks in a row. As the Nine of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles are both upright here in 5D connection, working to offer growth and creativity to those suffering in silence. That could be a sister as well. To detox the dark shadows, addiction, codependency, fears. Around the wheel reversed at 121, which is also 1-1. The wheel reversed, a slowdown, a downturn, a twist of fate of the Five of Pentacles out in the cold, in exile, injured or ill, or just left behind, defenseless, to the Knight of Pentacles upright, now moving on. As the block here is the Two of Cups reversed with the Page of Wands reversed. Oh, so the Two of Cups is reversed. Well, we have the Page of Wands here. And then the Ten of Pentacles is upright with the Knight of Cups reversed. So it's like there's the Queen of Cups over here and the Knight of Cups here, and then the Page of Wands reversed with this Ten of Pentacles, which is, right, the stable, abundant family. They have everything, right? It can be a family, business, community. It could be an old age home, something that's multi-generational. But there's obviously a family that's very unhappy there. Right? Perhaps even feeling guilty because they have what they have, but yet still feeling sad or unable to get inspired, like feeling guilty for not living up to their family's expectations, perhaps, or their work's expectations. I just turn the page. A gift to the Queen of Cups and the Page of Wands and the Knight of Cups I just showed you from the abundant family, perhaps. As the Page of Wands reversed, with their energy all over the place, may be frustrated and or uninspired. And the Seven of Pentacles, which can represent the Divine Feminine's heart in the E Tower, grounding and integrating the Four of Wands stable home with the Queen of Wands reversed, who could be, if Queen of Wands reversed is someone, having a temper tantrum, unless they're not well, right? They could just be sick, or their energy could be low, or, they could be physically abusive too. The Empress is upright with the King of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed, perhaps bored in a stable home, uncomfortable emotions of the Magician upright, the Healer, Aquarius and Gemini both upright, or Virgo perhaps, as they came up in the dice here too as well. Falling foolishly into the Three of Pentacles reversed issues at work, issues at school, issues any place where you may be co-creating, perhaps making a fool of self at work, in a bold move to travel in an upside-down world, in a flurry of activities with the Emperor reversed. And the Emperor reversed could be someone abusing their power, or again, someone who's not well, perhaps a parent or a grandparent who's not doing well. The Divine Feminine and the Empress Empress upright, in the Mary Magdalene cave with broken crystals, and the group down below. And remember the crystals, how I showed you the picture of the feminine trying to keep the crystals out of the vortex? And here's the broken crystals and the group down below, and perhaps represent the broken crystals that were deep down, that weren't fixed on the surface, as the ones were on the surface. Or Pisces reversed and Aries reversed, exchanging back and forth, keeping to self to keep their energy clear in a split, or feeling defeated, things not going in the Emperor's favor, as the Two of Wands or Twin Flames offers a choice. The Hermit going crazy, or threatening to come out. As the two flames of the Queen of Pentacles reversed and Injustice, or the twin flame between Taurus upright and Libra reversed, King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles both reversed here. The Empress is upright, but the Emperor's reversed. With Cancer upright, but Pisces, Aries, Libra, Virgo all reversed. And the Injustice of the Stairway to Heaven, when lovers upright are in uncomfortable emotions or unable to walk away with too many good choices to choose from. Release, courage, again, that can be, in a wealthy place. It's where you don't walk away because it's too comfortable, but you're not doing what serves you, what would make you happy. Release, courage, detox, when not in your favor, to inspire to live outside the box. The challenge being innocence, soul ties, children, pets. Surrender of the Page of Wands reversed, defenseless to the Divine Feminine's heart. The Empress and those out in the cold with a choice of path. The Queen of Pentacles reversed, in need of balance and taking steps, perhaps with lover or family, those of affection, but even when uncomfortable, right? So a lot of times, for a lot of us, uncomfortable emotions can paralyze us from going forward because we can't think straight, because literally we go into a brain funk, right? And that's at 138, 141, we're coming up there, which is the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Right? Making sure to love yourself first. and meditate again or take a nap to tricks you have for getting yourself out of those positions when you do get stressed out. So then we have on the 4th, assertiveness and the underlying energies. Let's see here. I don't know if I have this. Well, we have assertiveness in the underlying energies with the teachers in the boat. I don't know if I have that. Let's see. I do. Okay, so this is the one I'm talking about. So I did 2 decks. It's that same one I showed you before with this, but we have the teachers and the boats over here. And I may have reassessed the information there. I don't think it's that one. I think it's a new card. I just probably didn't take a picture of it. But the same 2 cards came up, but as earlier cards. So the first cards out were the teachers in the boat that were ending that last read. And then transcendence, intention, and nourishment came out. After resistance or breath or weightlessness and knowing thyself, after the underlying energy was assertiveness and learning to assert yourself at the new moon. The teachers as the moon waxes, which is still waxing now, 2 dear ones in the same boat or ark, 2 by 2, as the mist obscures the new moon with aqua aura, not purple moon, but aqua moon, and going into Pisces. The ceremony in a boat on water, 3 people, and mauve aqua white transcendence with unicorn intentions of nourishment. And there's 7 jugs in that card. It's actually here on top, right? Yeah, this card is nourishment. Okay. So 7 jugs of nourishment. Again, the 7 of cups has to do with what I was just talking about, having lots of options that are good. So it's hard to choose. And it can be overwhelming too, where it just shuts you down because there's just too many choices and you get overwhelmed. This energy of she being brown and you being blue. And it doesn't have to do it is skin killer, but it doesn't have to do with race here. This energy of playing with hair samples and your hands. And the mother message was talking a lot about our hands and our ears. And again, your smell abilities are going to be coming more on board. 2 deer in the headlights of Noah's Ark. 3 can transcend at night with night intent, or with the right intent, excuse me. 2 deer in the headlights of Noah's Ark. 3 can transcend with the right intent to nourish dreams. And again, like for me, the 7 cats were coming up. A prayer of love, patience through strength, and highest timeline. As the 48 wild boar, after the 51 of the King of Swords jaguar, and the 15 of the wolf, the 3 of the elk, 46 raccoon, 11 moose, 18 lynx, 47 prairie dog, 39 swan, 8 is the otter, and 21 the owl, and 30 the rabbit. As the King of Swords, devil or Capricorn, and the Empress elk of action, 46 with the 6 of cups, perhaps children or pets, with a mask, and Libra, moose, looking at Rocky, and again, Rocky and Bullwinkle coming up here, and the lynx moonchild with the 7 of cups prairie dog or squirrel alerted, trapped by perhaps other animals. And again, it's coming up from the animals' perspectives on each other. And you might see this sometimes on Instagram or TikTok. you know, the animals' concerns for the other animals out there, and watching out for the owls or the rabbits and the wild boars, and knowing when to go in the house, right? So your house dogs, cats, that kind of stuff, looking out the other animals and worried about them. I just saw a bird on Instagram or something, and the parrot was showing their concern for the squirrel because it was going to rain. It was really cute. So that same kind of energy is coming up here, right? Do they have a place to go? The Capricorn and Taurus, Libra, Cancer, Leo, Pisces, and the home within. As the first card that came out then was the Divine Feminine with the 37 of the King of Cups, and the Antelope, which I think antelope has to do with action. The 12 of the Porcupine, and Sophia, the way the boar sees your Divine Feminine, the King of Cups, the prickly porcupine, Pisces and Sophia, and the Earth Mother. And again, everyone's different perspectives on each other, right? The animals that are inside, you as humans, the animals that are living outside, all of these different perspectives, perhaps even the plants. As the 8s and 7s were coming up, I was trying to figure something out with the numbers here, as there were 4 8s and 4 4s, and then 3 7s and 3 3s, and then the 1 2 3 of a leap. The journey to Pisces and wholeness. So we're in Aquarius until 2044, so they are referencing that, right? Because Pisces is the final sign. Pluto moves into Pisces January 19th, 44, and Mars into Libra at the same time. So I was just looking a little bit into that. It was interesting. And that was the day I found out more information about a couple of the cats I've been taking care of, because I actually talked to my neighbor to find out what their names were, that he had named them. So 2 of them have names. So that was interesting. And their ages as well, because I didn't know. So then we have the next message here, which is the Medicine deck, the Ascension deck, the Fortunes Oracle, and then the Past Life deck. Okay, so the underlying energies on the left, and the cards that want to come out on the right. So the underlying energies were, well, this is on the 4th, 206, 206, 207, 207 for the 4 decks. The underlying energy was my blank card, which can it's like a wild card and can represent just open space as well. And then the underlying energy of the 9 of the Cosmic Heart and the Hermit, the 33 of the Unicorn and the Christ Consciousness, the 4D Bridge, and then Biblical was the final underlying energy. And the cards that came out first were the 29 of the Badger with the 1 of the Eagle and the 12 of the Porcupine. The second deck was the 21 of the Amethyst Skull, the 2 of the Animals, and 8 of Huna Prayer. So Huna Prayer might be helpful at this time. Along with the 14 of the Earth. And then the next first card, the third deck is the 9 of Eagles with the 36 World, 32 of Transformation. And then the last one is Persecution and Inquisition, Baby, Food and Hunger, the Arts. And, all right, Nat, I don't know what it'll say down below. But the space that's open there in the underlying energies, with the Hermit in Cosmic 90 Heart, a call on Mother Mary and the unicorns in, right, so if 90 is too hard for you to bring down, they're telling you to call in Mother Mary and the unicorns to help you to ground this energy more fully into the heart. As the 2 eagles fly across the bridge, standing up for themselves, magic here if you just believe, and the biblical carpenter. The hermit bridging to JC, to build with hands or wood, to ground Mother Mary. And so thus the Christ vibration and the unicorns there too. the gift of magic and aggression with the magic eagle. And in the medicine deck, the eagle represents Great Spirit. The Hanging Man and Prickly Pisces coming up here. Then the next deck was explore all the details before you make a choice. Remember, with all those choices, with the World and the High Priestess or Higher Self, Virgo and Pisces, and the date 8/14 could be coming up. The Huna prayer and thank Gaia for inviting you to be here with the dragons and elementals and Lemuria energy. The eagles soar around the world to break chains and again, you could be doing some grid work as Christ and hermit with map of intent transform where land meets sea meets sky meets the I am, the journeyman. Big travel over big mountains or volcanoes with purpose for going there, transmuting the Japanese energy in Pearl Harbor again, right? So the nuking in Japan and the Pearl Harbor attack. Persecution and inquisition with aggression in flight. So again, talking about battle in air. The eagle specifically and animals with all the facts here. Then a decision with wisdom and integrity. The eagle's baby needs both parents and would travel around the world to get there. To see another way, the Huna prayer, and again call to Felier, Archangel Felier, to look after the animals, and Archangel Michael to protect them, the unicorns to enlighten them. Breaking out of the prison planet, the chains that bind, with food and hunger, the arts and Native Americans, and the teepee home. And you can look at the teepee home as in a lot of different ways, right? Some might see it as a traveling home. Some might see it as unstable. Some might see it as not protective enough. Some might see it as energetically very protective, right? So there's a lot of different energies that can come up around that. At 9/27, the underlying energy of squaring the circle, with the first card out being greatness, and then the underlying energy of abundance in the conch shell, the partnership, discernment, protection, maktub, and the square, the squaring of the circle, the two ladies with a discerning eye, and lovely protection, as maktub shows the lesson, and the card literally shows sulfur, mercury, and salt. I've talked about all of them because sulfur was coming up regarding underneath the land of Iraq and Iran with the oil, right? And sulfur, something happening with the sulfur there. And then Mercury comes up in many different ways too, as far as the messengers, but also something that's is liquid silver and what's supposed to be harmful to us, but also has great power. And then salt, and being the salt of the earth, and again, we're made of salt water. Squaring the circle, and remember that the flats in Iraq became the salt flats. You know, they weren't lush anymore. After the land was all used up, they became the salt flats. Squaring the circle, or the sphere squared, the exponential earth, right, becoming multi-dimensional. Then the greatest of tribal women, the greatness of tribal women with the peacock was coming up, and Costa Rica was coming up there too. And Stephanie, the name Stephanie was coming up as Sweet Fanny, and the path of temple housing one-to-one whisper and a landslide. Miss Mason, I want to say Miss Mason. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. Mason, M-A-S-A-N. And it's kind of reminding me of Miss Saigon, but Miss Mason. I don't know what that means. If it means anything, let me know. All right, so we don't have a whole lot left. Let's see. I did watch several videos over the past week. I was really trying to take some of that in, and then again posting on Instagram and TikTok, so check them out. There's some very cool messages. So I was assessing on the 5th, like what all of the little data points around what had made me feel the way I felt on the 3rd and 4th, because there's a lot of stress coming in. Like it literally started at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was falling asleep, and all of a sudden the son woke up worried about what was going to happen with the cats. And then it just wouldn't go away. Just the frying in my brain kept circling. So again, perhaps write these things out so you understand more clearly all the events surrounding it and where it may have come from. Let's see here. Wrangling the snake in month 39, which is the Knight of Cups. And again, remember 2-3, that's the day I got that anxiety, was my 4th New Year's date, right? 4-9, July 18th, October 28th, and then February 3rd, because it was not the calendar year, but the leap year, right? So we're not finished February, then the year would be done. So 2-3 came up as that 4th quarter date, and 4 moons were coming up there as well. They were in the 4th quarter now. 2-13, and then 3-14 were coming up. So all of the moons were coming up, the dates 4-12 and then 5-12. Wrangling the snake in the month 39 of the Knight of Cups, as the 6 of Cups, or the innocent ones, receive the light, the daughter moon placed in the sky apart from the mother. The mother left perhaps behind with water under the bridge, as she shares her light, radiating across the sea, left in the dark, alone again naturally, as the 69 of contemplation with the Ace of Pentacles. And the first card coming out was the 6 of the 698 pod, the Angel of Jupiter Awaken, where lovers align with the 41-5, which is the Ace of Cups and the Holy Grail, feeling the weight of the world, the 43 of the 3 of Cups coming together in joy. The bride offers herself. The Ace of Pentacles to the lovers, to the Ace of Cups. So they're both aces are directed towards the lovers. One coming from one perspective as the Ace of Pentacles, the other is the Ace of Cups. An offering of stability aligns with an offer of love coming together in joy. The bride offers herself. 41. I have been here before with aromas opening the doors. I walk through knowing. And for me, I'd been smelling cigars and some burnt smells as well. Equanimity came up here with ecstasy and calm, and again, evenness, finding calmness and evenness. As the first card out here was the forgiveness, to free oneself, to leap, reflection in the boat, greatness in the Philosopher's Stone, initiation, compassion, and nourishment. Seeing the compact reflection again, and I was getting it as a screenshot of the whole picture. In the ark on the sea under the snow moon, which we're in now, the darkness before the dawn, unable to see the light, stranded in the middle of the sea with no land in sight, seeing the greatness of the peacock, showing all of its colors. And it was funny because that night I went out to get the trash cans and Mama Cat was out there, so I sat down with Mama in the street to ask her if she was okay and tell me what she wanted to tell me. And I was getting this energy of her noticing like coats, right? So I have to put a coat on, but she doesn't. She has a coat of her own. And seeing our samenesses. The Philosopher's Stone, the magic potion, just one last piece of the puzzle. As I was getting 1/12 left, and 1/12 is what? It's a month. And for something else, a month time period was coming up too. 28 days of February. Because in the last year it wasn't 28 days, it was 29. The genie in the bottle initiated through Vesica Pisces, and Vesica Pisces is the double bladder of the fish. The fish can rise up to the surface or go down deep depending on their two bladders, right? They can keep one full of air or fill it up and then go down. To rise and fall, releasing the air or taking on the water. And then A for compassion and calm. And then PA, which can be father, it can be Pennsylvania. And then the SS connection. Oh, I was just getting the Philadelphia experiment. I don't know why. But the initiate compass, which ignites direction and connections. 7 jugs of nourishment of the 7 things that you love. In it, coin our ish and intent. Ishma is shares or portions or 7 separate dishes, like for the 7 cats. Encompass, know-er-ism, and ENT, the giant humanoid living talking tree. In a direction, know your share of the giant humanoid talking tree. Release the air. Breathe out and find your direction that nourishes your soul with all the things that you love most. To inflame, excite, annoy, and consume is the URIS. The compass knows to inflame, one-to-one intent. ENT of the Living Library. And then the 7 trumpets came up, which weren't like our trumpets, right? They were straight bronze tube-like things, and they described a mouthpiece of bone and bell. The 7 trumpets being the sound alerts, my 7 cats, after the 7th seal is broken by 7 angels in Revelations 8 to 11. The final 3 are the woe trumpets, where the first had to do with the fires of hail and fire and blood, 1/3 of the trees and all green grass, and 1/3 of nature disappears. Then the second trumpet is the volcano, the great mountain burning with fire, plunges in the seas and turns 1/3 of the waters into blood, or 1/3 of the sea life and ships destroyed. The fallen star is the 3rd trumpet. The great star wormwood falls to the earth, poisoning the fresh water sources and with a bitter taste. The 4th, the 3rd of the sun's light. The moon and the stars become dark from being struck, causing complete darkness 1/3 of the day, which is 8 hours. The 5th, they're coming up as the first one is fires, then volcano, then the fallen star, then the dark night, and then E is glee, as the 5th is the eagle angel that appears and warns, woe, woe, woe. Personified star falls from heaven and the key to the bottomless pit. And we just talked about that, right? So we have the eagle now in protection of the moon and the key to the bottomless pit of the wound that wasn't fixed, right? After opening, the smoke arises and darkens the air and blocks the sunlight. From the smoke, the locust then unleashed, man's face, lion's teeth, and scorpion's tail, long hair, as I just talked about that too, and locust wings. As remember, Pegasus had butterfly wings in one of the cards, and here we have a Pegasus type of character too. Oh, and the scorpion tail of the bird. Remember I showed you the hand. The personified star falls from heaven with key to the bottomless pit. Opening as smoke arises, darkens the air and blocks the sunlight. From the smoke, the locust unleashed. And this section was coming up as the elephant's sulfur, because if you look at the map, Iraq is the elephant's head and Iran is the elephant's body. And that's coming up as Iraq, Iran. After opening, the smoke arises, darkens the air, and blocks the sunlight. From the smoke, locust unleashed, which described the man's face, the lion's teeth, the Scorpio's tail, the long hair, and the locust wings, the gold crowns and breastplates, commanded by King Abaddon to torment all without God's seal on their forehead, the 5 months of torment. And then the 6th is the 4 angels released to the great river Euphrates. Literally talk about the river Euphrates again. And the 4 angels, number 4, represents the crossroads, right? The vertical and horizontal pillars. The command of force of 200 million mounted troops whose horses exude fire, smoke, and brimstone from their mouths. And that can represent volcanoes, right? Just putting out Oh, interesting. The lion's head, the serpent tails, and then killing 1/3 of mankind. The seventh is then just the world, now the kingdom of our Lord, or the kingdom of heaven on earth. So then I think this is my last significant read. It's the medicine deck on the 6th, which is Thursday, and then the Ascension deck, the past life, and then the Fortune's Oracle. Okay, the underlying energies on the left, and the cards that came out on the right. The Ace of Cups. Well, let's see. First, they were pulled on the 6th from 10:07, 3 of the decks, and then 10:08 was the 4th deck. The first deck is the medicine deck, the underlying energies of the whale. So the whale and the elephant, really significant here. The 41 of the Ace of Cups, the whale is the record keeper in the medicine deck. The first card out for that one was Sophia, and then 38 frog, and 39 the swan. That's the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. That's the masculine and the feminine, or the feminine and the masculine. Remember the masculine peacock, the masculine birds are the beautiful, colorful ones, right? So the masculine 39 comes up as the swan, whereas the Queen of Cups comes up as the frog. But frog is, right, very ancient. I forget what they describe the frog. Let me look up the frog real quick. So 38 is, the swan is grace, and we had the Lady of Grace right there. And then the frog is cleansing. Okay, the frog sing, calls the rain, quenches the dryness to cleanse the earth, then fill me up again. So the frog calls the water. Okay. So then we have the Ascension deck with the underlying energy of 17 and Sirius. 17 is the star. And the cards that came out were 21, the Amethyst Skull, and that came up a couple times. The 5 of the Gold Ray of Christ, which also came up a couple times this week. And then the underlying energy of health with the past life deck, and the cards Egypt and finances came up. The underlying energy of the final deck at 10:08, the Fortune's Oracle, was 4 again of birth, and then the first card was 11 flowers, 7 cracker, 33 unicorn, and then 30 of the sun. The Ace of Cups, whale, star Sirius, health, the Emperor's birth, big love at the Y in the road, and was coming up as the swimming library. The swimming library of the whale, right? Because the letter Y is like the whale's tail sticking out of the water. That whale lived on land when Lemuria went under. And this comes from the medicine book, the medicine cards book. The motherland, or Mu, and disaster that brought red face to North America from the west. And again, west of the west coast would be Japan over there. The whale saw Turtle Island, or North America, become, and kept Mu alive to rise again when the fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. The native medicine people are waiting for this event as the next sign of the earth changes. Earth's children will have to unite and honor all ways and all races in order to survive. Medicine people are coded in DNA to understand sound frequency, bringing up records. Usually clairaudient, or able to hear very low or high frequencies, usually physically developed and fairly telepathic. Not awakened until the time to use their stored records. They tap into universal mind of great spirit, but don't know why or how until later when they receive impressions. And that's at 10:28, which is the wheel, and the 2 of wands are twin flames, the destined twin flames. And we're talking about the whale. The sounds and frequency, and the drum, which is the universal heartbeat, aligns heart to heart for healing and peace. Before advent of speech and primordial language, hand signs were used with sounds of nature and animals. Tap into records and allow yourself to be sung to by those who have the original language. We're the only creatures without a unique cry or call. So find yours. Again, what's that, like the third time we've been told to find our unique cry, our unique soul essence. Allow your voice to use this sound to release tension or emotion. Find your origins and sounds that will release these records. You may never be the same again. You are the melody of the universe. Harmony is the song of these creatures. And like I said, for me, that might have been my release when I was at, what's it called, in September. When I started, I never did, I'm losing all my words at the moment. I'm sorry. Please be patient with me. When I did the breath work in September and I ended up channeling Sophia in another language, which I'd never done, never done before. That's when I started channeling Mother's message. But yeah, she went on for like 5-10 minutes. I couldn't believe it because it never flowed out of me like that before. It came out of a scream because I was screaming and she just came right out of me. It's like she'd pushed the dark energy had come out just before that. Like they had me like, I've never been to this breathwork session. It's incredible. But like they take you down to that darkness of, like that devil energy, like Linda Blair, where they're scraping their hands in the dirt, trying to dig into the dirt, and then taking you up to this high level of the mother's energy. And she went on for a while. But that's the energy I'm getting when I'm reading this. You're using your voice to open your memory. You're expressing your uniqueness in personal sound. Your 9 totems may then send their sounds or calls to you through you to open personal records, soul history, and commune with Whale, who carries the history of all of us. If in your head chatter and you can't hear, use the drum, the flute, nature, and again, especially if you feel very connected to nature, this will help you. What are your totems? Call to those energies. The call of the whale is the lullaby of the tides. Rock yourself gently and float into the world of the sea. You must desire to know the whale's song within you, the whale's gift to you. Look to great star Sirius and the great star nations, and gratitude to Sirius for the song of the whale. And that was at 10:38, which is the Queen of Cups, and then 10:39, Sophia came up with the 38 of the Queen of Cups and the frog, and then the 39 of the Knight of Cups swan. The underlying energy of the 21 owl, 36 lizard, the 11 moose, and the 12 porcupine, the 46 raccoon, the 2 of the hawk, and the 41 of the whale. The world atlas with the WAITE, aligning with justice, the wisdom of the hanging man, the innocence of the 6 of cups, the higher self, and the ace of cups of love in the Holy Grail, the primordial whale love. And then I ended up breaking down whale, which hale, H-A-L-E, is healthy, safe, and whole, and sound. To drag, heave, haul, pull forcibly. To use hail, love. It also comes up as the station. I think I posted something on this too. And halo is a definition for hail as well, H-A-L-E. The whale is to use station, love, sound of safe, healthy, and whole. To use tail of 1-to-1, and pulling to lift, tow, lodge, station, house, halo. The halo coming up as the crown of sound, of hovering. Oh, interesting, right? With all of the hovercrafts. The night eagle, the lizard, and the moose hang in prickly housing with masked raccoon, hawk, and whale, with Pisces, Libra, Capricorn, Virgo energies, and 41, 38, and 39, which can represent all the water energies there, of the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. The underlying energy of Sirius and alchemy and magic, sacred geometry, and angel sonics, higher dimensions, spatial technology, or spiritual technology rather. And the 17 of the star after Orion 18 and the soul star chakra, the 4 of grounding, the gold and silver violet flame, the wisdom of grace and harmony, the 39 of Ashtar command, Machu Picchu, and the 2-way portal there, And the sun of 10, which is the wheel of fortune, the navel chakra of the universe, the divine masculine principles with rational courage, strength, action, and protection. And then the next first card was the 21 and 5 of the world and the Hierophant, the higher version of the world, the 12 tribes of Atlantis, and the crystal skull computer program kept in our inner planes. Look for the higher or the highest perspective, explore all facts, decide with wisdom and integrity. The gold ray of Christ in the ninth dimension or ninth dimensional cosmic heart, that's that Venus energy, to invoke love and wisdom, healing and protection of this energy. Send the gold ray to others as well. Sirius star with divine feminine masculine, sacred marriage, 12 tribes under Christ consciousness and the rainbow light and the golden gates and the double airlock I was getting, like a double door at a bank. Sirius is Sir-Eus, which translates as Jesus in the dictionary. And an amethyst skull and the gold ray coming up here with royal purple and gold, and SAG, which is union, is here. The underlying energy of health after the high priestess, phobias, biblical health. The healer summons a blessing over the divine feminine and masculine with Mary and Jesus, which are Mary and Christ. The carrot and the snake, right? Says that the snake wrapped around the carrot is the energy, the carrot being the light of your chakra system, and the snake rising, right, to peak on the top. The snake on a stone here with carrot and snake is C and S, is Christus Sophia, the pillar of light and the energy of love of the planet, of C and O as well, the whispering bench of sound and the symbols of the sine wave, using hands to sign, and Helen Keller was coming up there, as God is the wrist, not the finger, God is the wrist, where two U's at the crossroads of the third eye and the crown, with the 5 fingers of the Hierophant, the sacred breath of root to throat, which is the 5th chakra, and the 5 fingers, the masters of the hidden house or the chakra system here, where the cross then overlays with the 8, looks like a snowman with hands and then a line down the middle, with the physical 4 heart and the high 8 heart, which equals 12. Average was coming up not 6 but 7, the key to the 698 pod of the torus of 2 are us, and the trident of tried, the ENT, the living library of 12/3. And then my cycles were coming up of the 2, 3, 4, 5 pod and the 6, 7, 8, 9 pod, and then they were taking me to the next pod, like 11, 12, 13, 14. It was coming, if you take 11, 12, 13, 14, separate the numbers, it's 11, 11, and 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door. And also the 5 fingers were coming up as the 4 fingers, and then the thumb is part of the wrist as God, okay? So the prayers and the, right, because the thumb holds you, it gives you support. That was the reference there. The prayers of pH, which is regarding how alkaline or acidic you are, and the balance that you always want it a little bit more alkaline, like more light, same kind of comparison in the body. The Carpenter's Library, attaching the 4th leg with signs and symbols, the C and the S, the Christ and the Sophia, the woman folding hands and working with them, or the folding hands being woven hands and working with them, heads covered with fears, records, and health, the high priestess who brings them together. She prays and he keeps score. And wrapping head around this, as the cobra, his co-support, reaches the top to see themselves and sign. So the cobra is coming up as the C and the sign is the S again, in co-support, reaching the top to see themselves in each other in that final sign wave. And it's at 1138 to 1139, which is health of Egypt, and then finances, the pyramids and coins. Coins is Kohan. It's another way of writing it. Fire mids and co-hands with Sirius, which is Sir Jesus, and to use sounding, the stationing, through the infinite healing of health, which is health is infinite heal, but it's also two H's or one to one on either side of EALT. One to one Ea and Elohim. It was also coming up as him, right? So Enlil and Ea. The infinite or two one-to-one bridges with Ea's light between them. Two snakes and a bridge of light with the chakra system, the chak ray, the crystal skull, and the four birth of intersection of being earth, or the capital B is 13, or transitioning earth. The infinite ear connecting through the five fingers, or four, which again is the crossroads, and the wrist and the thumb to the thumb. Under my thumb, the fifth, or the hierophant, the sacred breath. The sixth is the spiral back to love. Crossing, and again that's the number 4, crossing the bridge or sailing across to Earth's ether. The AE, or ash, or bright light, that's a Pleiadian definition, the high road. A crossing from B to C. A, this is the whole alphabet. A crossing B to C, D, which is the spinning planet, E, which is the temple, F digamma twin flames, G, which is the little t leaping to source, one to one with I am, and J grounding it with K energy of L, and then M, which is N, Christed, Christ to Ed, and the O of the human embodiment of source, P is the housing, and QRS is the heart complex. The T is the tree, the heart complex of the two-way bridge, where the T is the tree, U is you, V is create, and XY is the feminine and masculine, and the Z of the sleeping prophets. Time to learn the alphabet C and wake up Z's to M and N in the middle, which they are in the middle of the alphabet, of Mary and Jesus, or Mary and Christ Ed, mountain and two-way bridge, to merge with the mountain with the horsepower of 144 turns of the water wheel at the cross in the road, which is Christ, CH and RIST. It's the horsepower at the cross in the road. Pulling until the final push, which comes up as the plus sign, and voila, a birth. Egypt and finances, or finances, as digamma twin flames in On sees, and On is Ea's father, or On's Ea's, again father and son. EG and then YPTU came up, which is to lift or raise, announce, reveal, come forth, turn up or appear, the temple of God. And EGG, which is the egg, two little t's leaping in tandem, one equal and congruent to the other, or CXC, which is infinity, or X in parentheses, which is the unknown, exploring the unknown, the shared space. The underlying energy of the 4 of birth after the 14 of judgment, the 8 of the dragonfly, 1 of abundance, and 4 of birth. The vapor released from the binding of the pages as the story leaps off the page. In patience with judgment, dancing two as one, the dragonflies, and 5 hands together. Again, so that's the bigger picture of the 5 fingers on the arm, the 5 hands together, led by the 6th of love, magic abundance. The drag on fly, F, digamma LY, light year, or love light at the Y in the road. 2 hearts as one and a beautiful mind. And mine, when I was doing some translation of my messages, mine in Japanese is peak. 2 hearts as one and a beautiful mind, or a beautiful peak. As ABUN is AB1, dance. I'm getting Obinoki. I'm not saying his name right, but you know what I mean. Star Wars. The dance. After the rings are bound, the patient angels dance, or magic, of 81, which in the numerology book, The Divine Triangle, 81 is the culmination of life, and then you basically have more free will after that. to the crossroads of number 4 here of B, which is 13, the transition of Earth. It doesn't, so B doesn't equal 13, but it is 13, the line and the 3. Transition of Earth of to the nth degree. 14814. 2 angels dance from 2 sides of the same coin. From 25 this year of the Phoenix, which we left the Phoenix to the literally next to each other. 25 Phoenix year to 28 Snake, the 27 proposal as the angel pages fire up to link in and let off steam and fly to magic abundance of finger holding, a show of hands, all in a pile and one little one, to hold the pointer down when crossing to the other side, never nearing the end. As the first next card is flowers or flowers, those who flow, with 11, which is justice, truth, and balance and alignment. The 7 cracker, 33 unicorn, 30 sun, and the collective alignment with key to excitement, truth, and balance. The vehicle in the silence for 2 eagle unicorns reflecting to cross the bridge together to reach the 30, the 4 of wands, and the sun. The justice of the chariot to carry you to home. The union of the sun, 11, 7, 33, 30. The flowers crack and the suns unite horns, or lock horns, as 117, 333, and 0. I feel like I'm dialing a safe code to crack it open. The 3 threes at 0 point. The pink and gold flowers, or flowers, magenta and purple fireworks of the sun. The collective aligns the momentum to cross into union at 1236. 12 is the hanging man, and 36 is Atlas, right, which is the map of intent. The 12 and 36, and 12 is 1/3 of 36, which comes up with the 7 horns. Again, the third of the world. 1236. The collective aligns in momentum to cross into union, which is, I feel like the unions, the purpose of the unions is to help rebalance the earth, right? Which makes the revelations, null, basically. Speaking of nodes and nulls and the mountains and stuff. So I'm getting like Japan and Hawaii, like nodes and nulls of each other. I'm not sure how that will work exactly, but I think that's going to be everything. But I did want to pull a fresh card for you guys. The others were all my messages that I posted on Instagram. Yeah. Yeah. There is one more, but I'm going to let you go. It's 213. Perfect. That's going into Valentine's Day. So I'll do this last one on the next video. So I'll start on the 8th instead of the 9th. But this has to do with the Pent and Hex, or 5 and 6 came up in this, as well as the elephant. So again, we have the whale and the elephant, which can reference the masculine and feminine. All right, so let's see. I will pull from Nirvana. Almost done, Teddy. Yep, almost finished. Last cards, okay? And then we'll take care of dinner, okay? He's looking at me like, yeah, right. I'm done in a minute. Okay. All right, you guys, for the best and highest good of all is concerned, for the twin flames. Closing message, please. There we go. Look at that. Twins. There's another card in front of it. Teachers and partners. Look at that. I don't have to say anything. The bottom of the deck is breath. So take a deep breath. As the partnership is here. Teachers in partnership. And what's under the breath? So after this friction here, and again, this kind of fog over the moon that came up in the descriptions, we have ecstasy, of friction when it comes to the breath. The breath work was coming up as significant there. And look how the red moon is matching her there. Hold on. And when I talked about the parrot, who was worried about the squirrels, and that's a white moon, but then it turns red with friction. And she's holding a white heart outlined in blue, which was like that aqua moon as opposed to the violet moon or purple moon. And again, that Pisces energy. And then she's got that Pisces color on her eyes too. Interesting. From white to red. And aqua, the rose gold mother's heart is coming up here. And again, this can represent partners right here too, of ecstasy here. As we build to the full moon. But this is the snow moon, so definitely getting that snow energy there. And then the teachers in partnership. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that because that's pretty cool. And look, it's the crescent moon. And they said that you're the either side of the crescent moon, bringing it together. And I love that the crescent moon is on the bottom though, as opposed to one side or the other, right? Bringing the crescent moon together as one, right? The X in the middle of the infinity symbol, two as one, right? The mix in the middle, and then the ones who still have their sovereignty on either side, the infinity symbol. Wow. Okay, guys. Until next time, thank you for being there. If you are watching, I so appreciate you. It definitely is a labor of love. Okay, you guys, remember to breathe, drink your water, ground, enjoy yourself, love yourself, rise and be loved, guys. I'll see you next time.